Brought to you by
Kokam Russia Zam 40 सालले जितेछन् FIFA World Cup हेर्न जाने मौका Kokam Russia Zam
Good evening, namaste and welcome to your favorite television show. You're watching Himalaya Television. I am Sadiksha Shrestha and you're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. Aajko मेरो guest हुनुहुन्छ a total boss babe. She is intelligent, she is smart and currently she is the CEO at Eco Infinity. It is the company that brings the world's #1 smart electric scooter in Nepal, new. So welcome Pranayna to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction.
So I mean, we have met on and off for the past 10 years almost. We also have this special connection of Miss Nepal.
Yes,
you're also
do.
a participant of Miss Nepal. You participated in 2008.
Yes, I did.
But the pageant got cancelled in 2008 because of a lot of protests. अनि त्यति बेला you had just come back because you were studying in United States. So America ma पढेर तिमी फिर्ता आयो, and then you participated in a pageant which got cancelled because it said that it objectified women and all of that. So how did it feel? So अलिकति cultural shock पनि भएको थियो कि कस्तो भयो त्यति बेला?
So 2008 ko journey I know this is very cliche, but I was actually a very tomboy. I used to play basketball, so district basketball ma khelte. So I used to mostly be in shorts. I didn't even own a single dress, so I borrowed it from my sister. It was mostly because of my parents. So my parents enrolled me in Miss Nepal 2008 and I wasn't really into it. I wasn't prepared physically or mentally. अनि cancel भइसकेपछि चाहिँ कस्तो भयो भने I have never started something and not ended it.
Right.
So it just felt like such a bitter taste in my mouth. And culture shock, not so much. I sort of knew what Nepal had to offer. So the protest was very, it didn't have any base.
Right.
So this what I decided was I'm going to make something of myself and then I will come back again.
Okay.
So it did leave a better taste in my mouth.
Right. But after that whole thing happened, then you moved on to do your bachelor's, right, in Australia. Yeah. So, and then while you were doing that, you also, when we were talking, you also mentioned that you were working 3 jobs, right? From cleaning toilets to working in a company for 6 years and being the business development manager, right? You achieved so much. So त्यसको बारेमा पनि हाम्रो viewers लाई अलिकति भनिदिनुस् न.
So I went back to Australia. I did my bachelor's in politics and international relations and communications. And त्यति बेला चाहिँ America को scholarship छोडेर गएको थिएँ कि म Australia. So when I went to Australia, I told my parents I'm going to pay for myself. म आफै पढ्छु, मलाई गर्न दिनुस्. And my sisters were also there, so I wanted to be in Australia.
Right.
So 6 वर्ष चाहिँ I worked for Vodafone. I started as a customer service agent. अनि 4 चोटि promotion भयो. I worked my ass off. अनि त्यसपछि in the meantime college education को लागि पुग्दैन एउटा जबले त्यहाँ. Studying there is very expensive as you can imagine. So त्यति बेला चाहिँ I also did cleaning jobs. I also used to distribute pamphlets on Saturdays. I used to work for Red Cross for funding. I also worked for there's an organization called Women's Health and Family Services that helps in rehabilitation of domestic violence survivors and kids. So I did multiple jobs. Vodafone is quite significant because of my career growth. I mean, because it was my full-time job, So starting from a customer service agent to being a business development manager for Western Australia. And sometimes being the only brown girl in a room full of white men specifically. So that was a very good experience. So 6 वर्ष I worked there.
So working in a multinational company like Vodafone, how was it? Like you just mentioned, sometimes being the only brown girl in a table or in a room full of men. Was there, but Nepalमा still त्यति धेरै discrimination को कुरा, equal pay, world भरि नै पनि आइरा छ. तर अस्ट्रेलियामा काम गर्दाखेरि त्यस्तो केही specific incidents हरू थियो कि was it relatively much better भनौं न नेपाल भन्दाखेरि?
There's definitely gender equality issues. तर त्यो भन्दा नि something that was a bigger struggle for me was racism. Because when I worked as a customer service agent, I had people who refused to talk to me because they were like, I need to speak with someone who can speak English. And I was like, I'm so sorry my English is not good enough for you. I will get someone for you. And then they would realize I'm the manager.
Right.
So then their perspective, they could not process this idea.
How can she be a manager?
Absolutely. So this being a minority, which is woman, and then a double minority because you're brown on top of it, Asian. अनि not just Asian पनि there's this thing where we don't fit in Asian man, we think Japanese, Chinese.
Oh.
It's like, where do you fit in?
Right.
So I used to get a lot of questions like, did you come by a boat and things like that. So, but I actually loved the experience because I felt like, what can I not take now?
Right.
So that was one of the struggles.
So त्यो सकाइसकेपछि then again you came back to Nepal and you re-participated in Miss Nepal in 2014, right? So यसको बारेमा चाहिँ we'll talk, but we'll talk more about this after this break. So don't think about switching the channel. Stay tuned to Himalaya Television and you're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. Brought to you by
Kokam Russia Zam 40 रनले जितेछन् FIFA World Cup हेर्न जाने मौका Kokam Russia Zam
Welcome back after that first break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6 with Sidiksha, and my guest today is Pranayna. So Pranayna, after you finished your bachelor's in Australia, you came back and then Tapaile, you participated again in Miss Nepal because you did not want to have that bitter taste in your mouth. Right? So 2014, you participated again. You became the top 5 finalist. You also awarded Miss Personality, so same pinch.
Oh, you were too.
So, त्यो पाइसकेपछि did you ever feel like ला मिस नेपाल भएन म अब के गर्ने भन्ने जस्तो भएको थियो कि were you happy with what you achieved?
So this is the craziest story, right? So I was prepared to win. I had prepared myself from 2008 to 2014.
Right.
I came back with a very good resume. I was prepared. I did makeup lessons on YouTube, of course, and then dressing up. I did all that research. So I was very prepared. In Nepali पनि एकदम राम्रोसँग brush up गरेर I was ready for a Rishi Damala interview, basically. So कस्तो भयो top 5 मा पुगिसकेपछि this, and it sounds very, very weird, but I had this epiphany where mostly women that I've looked up to, whether you talk about Oprah, Aung San Suu Kyi, they've had big failure stories.
Right.
And before I went on the top 5 stage, I was thinking, I have never failed big time because these women, like I talked about my racism experience, it was, it's not something so small. Of course, I can get over this. But before I went up on stage, I thought, if I lost today, what kind of a loser will I be? And loser sounds like a very bad word, but it is very difficult to be a gracious loser.
Right.
And I really wanted to find that out as well. Not that I wanted to lose. But I was before top 5 was the only time I actually prepared myself.
Okay.
So I have a good resume. I'm confident in myself. I don't possibly think I'm the most beautiful woman, but that is okay. And I started preparing myself mentally. So actually not losing became good for me in a very personal level because I now had lost in a space of, this national platform. And then I had lost there. And losing there did not lessen anything from me, from what I thought about myself or what I had.
Right.
And if I could get over that and become, so today I'm sitting across you and I'm getting interviewed. So, there's so much more. And now there's nothing you could possibly take away from me that would lessen anything from me. I'm still confident and so much more to do. So it was a great experience.
So as a participant also, in 2008 to 2014, Miss Nepalको लागि भाग लिन आउँदाखेरि, did you see any changes that happened within the organization or the environment? Because 2008 the pageant cancel नै भएको थियो. And I think starting from 2010, 11, Miss Nepal was a really looked forward event of the whole nation. So the differences in 2008 and 2014 that you felt were positive differences.
No, absolutely positive. The trainings were much, much better. जति पनि मैले training 2008 को training थियो and I thought what do I else need to improve on. Personally जति पनि गरेको थिएँ 2014 मा that was provided to the contestants. So the trainings were much better. The kind of coaches that came and talked to us, the platform was much more positive. Like you said, 2008 मा जति negativity पाउँथ्यो हामीले, having to justify why am I here, to oh, you are here, so what can you offer? The questions were very, very different. So it was definitely a very positive change.
And after being the top 5 finalist and winning Miss Personality, you also moved on to do a job here before you got a scholarship to go study in Singapore, right? And then you did a 1-year course in Singapore. So, you worked in Nepal, what kind of experience was that, comparing it to you being the business development manager in Australia, working with Vodafone and working a company here in Nepal?
So I'll tell you, one of the most basic differences in Nepal is actually much easier because unfortunately, our young people that go abroad, what it has left with is a pool of a very selective people. So getting a job is slightly easier in that sense because qualifications, ramro experience, that people want you to work for them. So that is relatively easier because by the way, it's very, very competitive. Had I not worked very hard as a customer service agent, becoming a business development manager would have been only a dream. Yeah, I'd say that is much easier. However, working with people and getting things done is harder. So I keep telling my parents, we only work 5 days a week, right? We have Saturday, Sunday, weekends. Yeah, we work 6 days a week, and that doesn't mean we get an extra day of work done. What that actually means is, June kura 2 din lagthyo hola Australia ma garna, yeah, it takes me almost about a week and a half, not even a week. So that extra day of work that we do on Sundays doesn't really add to productivity. So that is actually what is hard. So when I worked as a first experience was a startup. So I worked for Vespa as the head of marketing, which was also a great experience. So we introduced a very trendy product,
very youthful.
Absolutely, and even the person who started, so Abushan, he's a very young man as well. So that was, that was very uplifting. Some Nepal is going to get somewhere because there's so many young, passionate people. But yeah, that's something I think we really need to work on here, productivity.
So, bitsama kaam garisakepasi in Vespa, then you moved on to doing your masters in Singapore. So, त्यति बेला, were you mentally prepared? Like, did you always want to come back to Nepal? Like, yahi ho मेरो future, ma kaam गर्ने yahi ho भनेर थियो?
Absolutely. So, I actually did my schooling in India. I always used to tell my parents, I'm going to come back to Nepal and do something. And people used to make fun of me. You're saying that now. When I was in Australia as well, I need the Nepali diaspora. So I used to tell them, I'm going to go back. And they're like, you'll stay here. You don't know. And so I'd always prepared. So Vespa ma kaam garda heri pani getting the scholarship in NUS was I actually went there to understand the public policy platform. So one thing that really bothered me was complain garchan bhanera. I wanted not just to complain but understand how easy are the solutions as well. Okay? So that is why I pursued the public administration degree in Singapore. And so now that I've started my own business as well, it's helped me understand the policy side of it and also to see it from the government perspective. Is it easy? So Singapore really helped in that aspect.
All right, because you did public administration there and then you came back to be in Nepal for good, right?
Yes.
But we'll take a short break and we'll really talk about if Pranayna's parents were really happy with the decision of her daughter coming back to Nepal and, really being here for good. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to Himalaya Television's Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6 with Sadiksha. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break. Brought to you by
Kokam Russia Zam 40 रनले जितेछन् FIFA World Cup हेर्न जाने मौका Kokam Russia Zam
Hi and welcome everyone. After the break, I'm Sadiksha. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6, and I am here with my guest Pranayna today. So Pranayna, before the break, we're talking how you really had made up your mind from the very beginning that you're going to come back to Nepal. Nepalमै केही गर्छु, नेपालमै काम गर्छु भनेर एकदमै mentally prepared हुनु भएको थियो तपाई. तर पेरेन्ट्सलाई चाहिँ आफ्नो छोरी हुन्छ नि नेपालमा आओस् जस्तो लागेको थियो कि तपाईको पेरेन्ट्सलाई or were they really like no, I think you should stay out of Nepal, you should grow outside of Nepal भनेर कस्तो थियो उहाँको विचार?
So I'll tell you something. So my dad is the one so he has 4 daughters. So I'm the youngest one, and he raised us all to be feminist. And what he used to say is how he saw our future was गाडीबाट सेतो गाडीबाट टक्क निस्केको briefcase समातेर. So he had this huge, he wanted to see us successful. Right. He didn't see us as this married, एकदम राम्रो. So he was not like that. And neither is my mom. So my dad is अब राम्रो काम थियो मेरो. I was getting paid well. I was doing well in my career. So my dad was like, there's no way you're coming back. नेपालको political situation कस्तो छ थाहा छ तिमीलाई छोरी गाह्रो छ. So he understood also the ethos that women face here. So त्यो पनि बुझ्थ्यो बाबाले. So my dad definitely did not want me to come back. My mom was like, कोही पनि छोरी मसँग थिएन. So of course I want one of you to be with me. So my mom had that as well. So my dad still sometimes, if there is एकदमै धुलो उडिरा हुन्छ कहिलेकाहीँ मैले भने हैन भनेर देख्यौ. It doesn't even let me walk and he drive गर्दा एकदम बिस्तारी छोरी तिमी अस्ट्रेलिया जस्तो ड्राइभ नगर या it's like go 20 30 not more than that. So he still gives me that. Of course he struggled with me being there. He's like he's always worried about me because I'm here. So that's definitely there.
Okay. So having to convince your dad, your mom wanted here. So early, now that you are the CEO at one of these really happening office, which is also very youthful. We'll talk about that in a while. So the early tapai jaha hununcha त्यहाँ पुगेको देख्दाखेरि is your dad happy and proud? Or he still sometimes becomes a critic and says you still could have done better outside भनेर.
So more than have done. So my parents, my family कस्तो भने very very supportive. I absolutely love my family. One of the best families. तर कस्तो भने we always push each other. We're not the kind of family that says, oh, राम्रै देखाछ तिमी त. Like you look good, but you could improve. There's always so much room for improvement, and we're a bunch of ambitious people. So my dad is still like बाहिर राम्रो भन्दा you can still do better.
यही पनि अझै राम्रो गर्न सक्छौ
Absolutely. So NUS बाट पढेर आउने बित्तिकै I had a lot of friends from World Bank and UN and ADB. So my parents were like, World Bank ma kaam गर न छोरी. Why do you want to work somewhere that you want to start on your own, struggle गर्ने भनेर. But that's what I told my parents. I came here for a challenge, and that is what you raised me for. You raised me to become the feminist who takes up challenges and does things different way. So I look at my parents and I'm always like, I give them a hug before I leave. I'm like, because sorry, CEO voice again. My dad just like he rolls his eyes like there can be so much more room for improvement.
Right. So
that is still there.
True. I think as parents, as daughters, Banumna, I think we still have that extra ounce of love from our parents. I know. Ani alikati छोरी मान्छे daughter छोरी भनेर I think this is the सबैको घरमा पनि छ होला. I think even all our viewers who are watching हुन्छ नि and parents who are watching would probably like, yes, I would do that for my daughter भन्ने खालको. But when you did join in new as a CEO, when you heard about the concept, about the product, what did you think? The first thought that you had?
Skepticism. Okay. So that sums up my whole attitude in one
truthfully,
word.
Right?
Ekdam truthfully. I was very skeptical. It's like electric scooter in Nepalma. What I am trying to fight now is what I started with myself. So I was very skeptical. So Pragun and Tarun, this is their vision. They started this. And it's a great vision, but I was very, very skeptical. And I was, when I met them for the first time, I was very hesitant. I was still studying in Singapore when I met them. I had come here for a break because I was looking for a job then. And I was like, electric scooter, I said, I'll get back to you. And to be very, very honest, Pragun is probably going to watch this and be like, I actually said no the first time.
Okay.
And I didn't have the guts to call him. And I just like, kasto राम्रो vision छ तर industry छ नेपालमा. And I actually wrote to him saying, maybe this is not the best opportunity for me. And I actually thought about it for another half an hour. And then I called him up and I said, I don't know if you've checked your email, but don't check it. I'm taking up the job.
Okay.
He was like, great, welcome on board. And he didn't go further on. And that is actually how my new journey began.
All right. Ani, so in that half an hour span, what happened that once an email लेखेर म गर्दिन भनिसकेको कुरालाई पनि why did you take it up? So what happened in that 30 minutes?
So, Taka Singapore ko break ma that's even while I was studying in Singapore, I used to do a lot of all the report writing and stuff. I used to write a lot on Nepal. Nepal ko hydropower project ko bare mein lekhe the. I also wrote about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that was established after the 10-year civil war. So post conflict war ko Nepal kosto cha. And I was writing all these things and everything is a challenge.
Right.
And then I was like, it is something good for the environment. This is what our economy needs as well because 27% of our GDP goes to fuel imports. And something can be done about this. So what I was studying at the time was public administration, and this, even if it was private sector, it had a very good impact on the public administration sphere. And also for everyday individuals.
Correct.
So in that half an hour, and I'm a thinker. I think a lot, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but a thinker big time. I think women we
are in general, yes, big time.
That's why we're smarter. And then I thought in that half an hour, that's all that went inside my head. I was like, all I'm studying, this is a challenge. It's going to meet everything that I really want to do. I'm going to do this. And I don't care who says no, but I've made up my mind. But in half an hour, I was like, I took up the job. So that's what happened in half an hour.
Okay. So, and you now, you've also invested, Banumna, in the company now. So you're not just a hired CEO, but it's also your company because you have shares in it, right?
Yes.
So, afne company, when you were just on a salary, let's say, was there any differences that you felt towards the company? Ownership ko feel hune na hune,
So what sets me apart from other individuals, I think, is also the fact that I give my 100%, and that is how I've been brought up. It is something you'll hear a lot in my house. It'll be like, "Chori je gare pani 100% garo bhanera." So I give my 100% to my work. So even if I was working for Vespa, I didn't have any shares in there, but I worked a lot. You would think apparently a lot of people thought I also had shares in the company. So I found out later.
So you're working so hard that people imagine that it was your company also.
Yeah, and so that is what sets me apart as an individual. So in Newma Pani, I gave it my heart and soul, blood, sweat and tears when it happened. And what is so beautiful about this team is, I keep talking about Pragun and Tarun, them as directors, even when they hired me as CEO, they gave me full space of freedom, of creativity, of responsibility as well. So they were never like, so to give you a very simple example, government offices, they want to become, they keep talking about innovation, but they make you sign the same, so automatic nagaram, ye paper fill garnus, so we'll record it. So they want you to follow the same procedures, but they want you to add innovation, which becomes very, very difficult. Because there's a ye procedure follow garnus, innovation add garnus. I don't know what you want me to do. With them, they actually gave me space. So they were like, what do you want to do? So they asked me for my opinions, they respected me. So that I appreciated a lot. So that really helped. So, and that is also, I think, very, very important, not just as women, even men. If you've given someone the responsibility, you also need to give them some kind of freedom.
And trust as well, right?
Absolutely.
Trust their instincts.
Otherwise, you can't expect them to grow. You're always putting them in this box and be like, "Ye kaam garnu chai bhanera." So I was very, very lucky to get that team.
So Vodafone ma ta brown girl manager hundakheri you already face some kind of discrimination. Nepal ma aera euta female haina CEO, euta mahila CEO bhaisake-pachi chai is there any particular incident that you would like to share where maybe an employee didn't trust you, or maybe a government official sanga kehi bhako kuraharu tapai ho ra yo company ko CEO jasto kehi kuraharu bhako cha tapai sanga?
So I'll give you the positive and the negative. Let me start with the negative first actually. So negatives like kasto bhane, when I actually just ma Vespa ma ni kaam garda huन्थ्यो यो अहिले त झनै हुन्छ. I go to a lot of government offices now lobbying garna. They will be like, a boss aunu bhayena after meeting me. And my team who usually goes, which is the positive, my team is very, very supportive. They respect me. They never make me feel like if had I been a man, my experience would have been different. I'm very lucky with that team. So the negatives like also my team would usually go boss so that really helps as well. The government offices might say, suppose if I'm sitting in a room and if I go with men, like if I go with my directors, they usually do not shake hands with me, or there's no eye contact. So they literally skip me during meetings. Or they're like, "Tapaiku mathi ko cha." On the two-wheeler industry specifically, you won't see a lot of female heads.
Yeah, true. Correct.
So that is something, and I love that, I love being like, I'm the one who makes the decision. And that is so empowering sometimes.
Of course, definitely.
Who else do you want to talk to? Why can't you believe that I'm sitting here? And that is why my resume helps as well, I think, because it's all hard work and experience that has got me here. So there is not a second of doubt. Sometimes, had I been a man, would my experiences have been different with other people? With government lobbying, we start slightly easier. But it's not, because you're so different. They're like, there's only one girl in the room, maybe I should listen to what she has to say.
So I think it's good that you changed in Bhairasa. There are few women who are actually stirring things up and making people rethink about the things that they say and the actions that they do. But a product ko barema kura garnu pardakheri chai, when you guys were introducing new to the market, it was quite new also in a way, haina. Ani mancheharule chai kasto response dinu bhayo the customers really? I mean, when you look at the scooter, it's very stylish, it looks fantastic, but it's electrical, now it can be the main factor that someone buys the scooter. It can be like above charge kasari garne batti chaina, this, that, so many reasons. So how was it selling to the first customer, let's say, or first time launch garne belama response kasto aako थियो?
So kasto cha bhane, absolutely everyone starts with skepticism. One of the biggest drawbacks we've had is usually kasto huncha when there are always first movers in the industry. Hamro first movers in the electrical industry are scarred because jun chai pani electric scooters haru bhitra aiyo, one, they were not registered, which means they do not have any certain procedures or quality control that they had to go through. So suppose you were someone who bought an electric scooter, you had a very bad,
Bad
experience. So
experience.
you don't want to buy it again. So त्यहाँ पनि अलिकति government को drawback के छ भने you should introduce quality control in any
Right.
industry.
Right.
Because what a burnt child fears the fire भन्छ नि. So it's the same thing. So that is something we really struggled with. So our first 6 months was only gaining people's trust. So we went to a lot of steep tests. So ours became the first electric scooter in Nepal to be registered with a number plate.
Okay.
And till date, it is the only one.
Right.
अरू स्कुटर्सहरूलाई ब्लू बुक दिन्छ तर नम्बर प्लेट चाहिँ
दिँदैन,
दिँदैन
okay.
नम्बर प्लेटको लागि चाहिँ यु एक्चुअली हेभ टु गो थ्रु दिस टेस्ट विच वाज इन्ट्रोड्युस लेटर सेतो गुम्बाको उकालोमा 2 जना राखेर चढाउनुहोस् भन्छ एन्ड विच अ लट अफ पेट्रोल स्कुटर्स क्यान अल्सो नट गो थ्रु
Okay.
बट पेट्रोल अब कुनै पनि नयाँ ब्रान्डको पेट्रोल स्कुटर ल्यायो भने दे डोन्ट एक्चुअली हेभ टु गो थ्रु द्याट प्रोसिजर
Right.
बट वी
Because
हेभ
it's a
टु
different procedure for that altogether, right?
Absolutely,
Oh.
but it's the same hilly road
Yeah,
in Nepal, so
yeah.
I don't understand why it's different. तर इलेक्ट्रिक स्कुटरहरूलाई पनि त्यस्तै गर्नुपर्ने थियो. So that is something we really struggled with, where people didn't trust. ए राम्रो छैन कि, and like you said, charging गर्नुपर्छ. So what is different about New is you actually don't need a different charging station for it. It's a very portable battery. It's lithium ion. अनि lack of knowledge also is a big drawback for us. किनकि पहिला आउने स्कुटर्सहरू चाहिँ lead acid battery को हुन्थ्यो. Lead acid battery is actually harmful for the environment, and drainage and disposal is very, very difficult. अनि lifespan एकदमै कम हुन्छ. But lithium ion is basically what we use in our phones.
Right.
So it's the same technology. Multiply that by 1,000 becomes your scooter, and then scooter ko battery. You can remove the battery. It's about 10 kilos. You and I can easily carry it with one hand
Of
because we're
course.
like
Super girls.
super girls, and then we can just charge it anywhere, any multi-point. So it's easier and it's much lighter as well. It gives you about 80 kilometers. So besides looking stylish, like you mentioned, and thank you for that, the scooter is very stylish. It has an app as well, which makes it the #1 smart scooter in the world. Second, it's very easy to charge. And most importantly, what we all love as human is money. You save a lot of money with it. So those are definitely a lot of advantages with an electric scooter.
Right. So we're talking about New, and we're talking about New with Pranayna Casey. She is the CEO of Eco Infinity, the company that brings the electric scooter to Nepal. So don't go anywhere. Don't think about switching the channel, and be back after our last break.
Brought to you by
Kokam Russiazam 40 जनाले जितेछन् FIFA World Cup हेर्न जाने मौका Kokam Russiazam
Welcome back after that last commercial break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6 with Sadiksha and my guest Pranayna. So Pranayna, break agadi हामीले New को बारेमा कुरा गर्यौ हैन अनि अब चाहिँ how has the journey been so far working with New, and what do you look forward to? So future plans के छ त?
So the journey with New has been absolutely fulfilling. What is so important about where I am today is the team that I have. Not just the fact that they are a very young team, they are passionate, they work very, very hard. So I'm very lucky to have, jati pani team that work with me, whether it's in service, sales, you get the best team. So that has really helped me not just change people's mindset, but also change the industry in that way. So New has actually picked up really well. We have about 100 units on the road now, which is unheard of for an electric scooter, and we haven't even crossed a year.
Right.
And we have 2 showrooms now, one in Maitikar, one in Naxal. We have a stall in Labim Mall every weekend.
Yeah.
So we are getting there, but absolutely, I wouldn't have been able to do it without my team. And you will see New on the road, the one with the halo headlight, that is a New. So you'll start noticing it on the road.
Okay. So I would also like to ask, when we look at New, let's say, my first impression would be, oh, kasto young मान्छेहरुले चलाउने खालको scooter भनेर. But while we were talking, you mentioned a very interesting कुरा, Can you share that with our viewers also, what that was?
So, if you look at the demographic of people that are buying New now, you'll mostly see not just educated, I will not try to generalize it so much, educated, but you'll mostly see people above the age of 25, 27 buying it. And they take a long time to make the buying decision. Ekdamai research garera New ko barema. And I've met a lot of customers who knew more about New than I did sometimes. So like, did you know it is in this country? And I was like, oh, it's in this city as well. I did not know. So त्यस्तो पनि customers हुनुहुन्थ्यो. Young मान्छेहरु, someone say, what we struggled with is you want to be cool, and electric has not yet become cool.
Right.
And that is what what we are trying to change. I would like to think I'm cool. So if a cool person is running the company, and also the fact that I have a very cool team.
Right.
So that is what is helping change that. If you look at our demographic, it's mostly men as well. We won't see a lot of girls buying new. And I really want to change that because it's a very light scooter. And the fact that it's so easy to charge, we had this campaign that was called Be the Boss of Your Own Scooter. And for girls, it's much easier. Kids happen charge going to mean but you will never have to go to a petrol station and
be dependent on someone else
and
also,
be ogled
right?
at as well. Okay? I don't know if this happened to guy. Koile fuel burn the look that you get, like oh KT गाडी पर चढेको. And even with scooters, I know people get that a lot.
Right.
So you'll never have to go through that. Imagine that experience. So we really want to change the demographics. So young मान्छेहरु र केटीहरुलाई चाहिँ I really want to change the concept, the thinking, जुन चाहिँ mentality छ हाम्रो. So that is the demographic we're looking at. So they young people and girls, new is a very cool thing.
Right.
So it's time to own it.
So Ani, you know, all this journey, let's say from being a participant to Miss Nepal, going and studying in Australia, Singapore, working in, you know, working abroad, coming back, now heading a very youthful company, being the CEO there. All this journey, Ma, was there any advice that you really took very seriously or a mantra that said, you know, I'm going to live my life by this one? All these, over the past few years.
I knew you would ask me this question and I am not prepared because like I said, my parents, if you see our Viber conversation, it's a lot of advices, like one-liners and exam cliche. But the one thing that has stuck with me all my life is this too shall pass. So whether it's up or it's down, this is too gonna pass. Whether you're very successful, even the time I was cleaning offices and like you said, I was even cleaning bathrooms, I was thinking, you know what, where am I gonna be? What am I doing with my life? But then I would think, this too shall pass. And while I'm sitting here, I think I've reached a certain point in my career. I know this too shall pass. I might become irrelevant sometime later. So that is something that I live by.
Okay. That's very profound in a way because ups and downs सबैको लाइफमा भइहाल्छ नेपालीमा भने जस्तै आई थिंक सुखमा नहाँस्नु र सुखमा नमात्नु र दुःखमा नरुनु, something like that. I'm really sorry if I messed it up, but something like that. So it really does make sense भनौं न. धेरै घमण्डी पनि नहुनु if you're doing really well, if everything is going well, but you don't be too sad also that, you know, nothing is working my way, because I think as youth one thing we sometimes lack is patience. Because we really want to be famous overnight, we want to be crorpatis overnight, you know, we want success overnight, and sometimes we have to realize that everything doesn't happen overnight and good things do take time. So that was my advice to all the people who are watching. So what is your advice to all the youngsters who are watching, to all the, you know, young at heart who are watching, and to all the wannabe boss babes?
So there's nothing unique that I can say to you that you haven't already heard before. Inspiration lies in every corner. You just have to look for it. So one thing definitely that I live by and that I think you should also apply in your life is this too shall pass. Whether it's ups and downs, it is going to pass. And, you know, there's just going to be an even time sometime. So just, you know, and it's so easy, like you said, young people don't have patience, and it's true. I do go to lectures in some universities, colleges, and what I see lacking is passion. And passion is not just on its own, oh, I want to become a superstar someday. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. So be prepared to work hard and work on your soft skills. So whether it's speaking skills, whether it's your knowledge. I'll go back to new again. I'll keep this very brief. Newma, something we struggle with is soft skills. Engineering पढेको हुन्छ तर lithium को बारेमा थाहा हुँदैन, BMS को बारेमा थाहा हुँदैन, which is some of the softwares that we use. Work on skill like that and you will become relevant. So inspirational knowledge lies on YouTube. So just go to TED Talks and watch some really inspirational stuff, and trust me, you will get there.
All right. So like Pranayna said, you know, inspiration lies everywhere. So we really have to be able to grasp it, to acknowledge it, to see it, and to really help that inspire us as well in a way. So with that note, and on that note, I think we have come towards the end of the show. Thank you so much for being here. I had a lovely time. I had a fantastic time.
Same
and
here.
I'm sure all our viewers who are watching us right now also felt the same. So thank you so much, Pranayna, for coming and being a part of this wonderful show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right.
Thank you.
So with that, Pranayna and I are going to say goodbye to all our viewers. Till then, I hope you find passion in every corner. Like she said, I'm going to see you next week. Till then, take care and bye-bye.
Brought to you by
Kokam Russia जाम 40 जनाले जितेछन् FIFA वर्ल्ड कप हेर्न जाने मौका कोकम रसिया जाम